Hey guys, my name is Ryan and welcome to Overwatch Central. So I want to get straight into this video. It's a big discussion video with LowKeyNerd, who is one of the top D.Va players in GM Top 500. And of course we're going to talk about the new changes that are coming out with her. You can check out his Twitch and also his Discord for other D.Va mains to corroborate and talk. So if you play a lot of D.Va, then do join that Discord. You can get a lot of tips and helpful advice from a lot of people, not just Lowkey. But also real quick, we want to start up master guides as well. We have maybe half a dozen heroes that we haven't covered, the likes of Mei, Symmetra, Reaper, which at this moment in time, we'd much rather focus on heroes that are much more popular in the meta, and also a lot of heroes have changed in the past. So if there are any heroes that you would like us to recover, Genji, Tracer, Ana, Zen, it's been a while since we've done those, so do let us know what heroes you would like to see in the comments below. And let's get straight into talking to one of the best D.Vas in the world, and whether the new D.Va is any good or not. First and foremost, just looking at the changes on their own, would you say that this is more a buff or a nerf in sort of simple terms for D.Va?
It's gotta be a buff, but based on your play style. If you're a defensive player, it's certainly a nerf. If you're an aggressive player, certainly a buff.
D.Va for the pros was used in that really conservative, PL-esque kind of gameplay. Is that still applicable now, or does everything change about the hero at the same level as, say, like the Roadhog changes?
Yeah, it's interesting because, as you all know, Blizzard has gone back and forth with what they intend D.Va to be and do with certain comps and lineups and situations. Now, Matrix only being 2 seconds long, it really takes away the tank aspect from her because she has to use that for herself now. She doesn't have much wiggle room to protect her teammates. So if you want to go in and engage, you better be sure you have your Matrix up to full charge. You better not have been protecting your teammates for 3 seconds before you dove. So I think it almost makes the hero more selfish, and then less of a team player in that sense.
Did you feel that D.Va needed changing at all? If so, what would you have changed about her prior to these changes that have come onto the PTR?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I have a very aggressive style, so these changes, they fit nicely with my play style. But as a tank player and a tank hero, it is kind of a bit baffling to me that they added like rockets to D.Va's kit. Now it's fun and it ups the skill cap, but in the end, I think that perhaps a simpler change would have sufficed. So what if we just lessen Matrix's overall impact or cut the time by a little bit, but then we just say up primary fire's damage and gave her the ability to fly and shoot, because flying and shooting is actually really awesome, and I think we'll talk about that here in a bit.
I think overall the changes to D.Va have been to make her feel much more fluid, much more engaged, and you know, the changes with D.Va and Mercy are very similar in the sense that the idea is meant to increase their APM essentially. The right click is something much like Mercy as a whole hero that the higher tiers of Overwatch don't like. Felt necessary to have a D.Va on your team to absorb all of that damage. Do you feel that the changes now sort of alleviate that? Is she still a top tier pick or no longer fulfilled, therefore D.Va may drop in popularity for those high tier games?
We're gonna have to see how it shakes out, but in my opinion, I think she's still just as viable as pick as she's ever been, especially with all the other hero changes coming in. Now of course that gets kind of complicated to talk about the meta shift, but D.Va is still a 600 HP hero that has one of the highest maneuverabilities in the game, has a second life, now has rockets, has some of the highest burst damage now depending on how you time your combos. So thinking of it like this, you see a 250 HP hero, soldier, high ground. Usually a D.Va contesting soldier would be, a pretty close fight, especially if the soldier still had self-heal, or maybe he was getting, healed lightly from an Ana down below, or something similar. Now though, now as D.Va, when I fly up to a soldier on high ground, and of course I haven't had a chance to play in top 500 GM yet, but when I fly up to a soldier on the PTR, I start shooting as soon as I start flying. Number one, I get some ticks in. I click my rockets, I get another load of burst damage in, then I hit him with boosters, which does another 25 damage, then I melee, and that's another 30 damage. So almost before I even get up to the point of where I used to be with contesting soldier high ground, he's almost dead. So D.Va, in my mind, is almost back to that kind of bully zone where she used to be in. Now mind you, much easier to kill because she doesn't have the massive amount of armor she used to, but certainly more playing the bully D.Va role.
Yeah, we'll get on to talking about how to optimally use her for damage and bullying and stuff like that, because a lot's changed since the Master Guide, right? So, but the first thing I want to say is, obviously, you're not Jeff Goodman, you're not Jeff Kaplan, you're not Blizzard, you won't know what they think, but why, in your opinion, do you think that these changes came in? What do you think was on Blizzard's mind when it came to D.Va?
Oh, absolutely the shift to make it more watchable of a game. I mean, you know, everyone knows what they're doing with Overwatch League and the amount of money and effort they've put in to making that a real thing. Personally, and this is coming from a D.Va player, I wouldn't want to sit there and watch a ton of ultimates get eaten every 10 seconds or so. It's fun to see a soldier run through a team. It's fun to see a Reaper be able to ult once in a while. You know, see a Roadhog's ultimate actually be able to kill somebody. With the 4-second D.Va Matrix, you almost never saw any of that. I died on the PTR to a Roadhog ultimate. I'm like, how the fuck did that happen? Then I'm like, oh wait, like that's right. I can't eat a Roadhog ultimate anymore. Same thing with the Mercy changes. No one wants to watch a game of hide and seek. If we wanted to do that, we'd go outside and, you know, fucking run around behind some bushes or something.
Now that you have such little defense matrix to work with, first question I want to ask is, the cooldown on the ability of it charging up is still the same? Is that something that you feel is fine as it is? Or would you decrease the cooldown of your defense matrix going back up to 100%?
Gosh, you know, and I see a lot of Reddit posts and a lot of forum posts about this, and Xenofly, a good friend of mine in our Discord, talked to him about this, and this is kind of his sticking point. He's a more defensive player.
He's another D.Va main, isn't he?
He's another D.Va main. Xenofly is another D.Va main. He was rank 1 this season on Overbuff for a while. Good guy, very nice. And I was talking with him about this because I wanted to get his opinion, and you know, he says that he thinks it should be lessened a bit, decrease in the recharge time, and that's because for more defensive players, it's kind of important to have Matrix up every once in a while, but even without the high recharge time, or with the low recharge time, the benefit to Matrix is it's back online every second, and you can flash it every single second, every other second. So, eating Zarya ults, eating Tracer ults, eating Mei ults, eating Hanzo arrows when he doesn't shoot it into a wall, all of that is still just as easy as it was before. To me personally, I don't think that's changed at all. It's all about timing. You wouldn't want to Matrix a Zarya for 4 seconds anyways while you anticipate her ult. That's a bit of a waste of Matrix charge.
Yeah, so what's your advice on being able to eat those abilities, seeing as it becomes much harder to do? Like, there must be some sort of insight that you could give that can help players work out when to expect the Tracer Pulse Bomb, the Grav, all of that kind of stuff. And also with abilities and ultimates that are longer, like Visor and High Noon, that are going to outlast your defense matrix. How do you go about dealing with that now?
Yeah, I mean, I can even break it down more intricate than that. We can go hero by hero with Zarya. What I like to do, now of course, it can depend on the player, but many times they'll get much more aggressive. They'll walk forwards in front of their team. Most of the time, Zarya's kind of play back. The reason they play back is so they can bubble their teammates. And once they have enough charge, then they'll start moving forward. You'll notice that when they have a Grav, even without a lot of charge, they'll start stepping forward. And that's like your indicator that, you know, they're about to ult. And then I would look around on your team and see where everybody's grouped up at, because you know a game-aware Zarya is going to ult in that spot. The other thing you can do with Zarya, and I've done this on Anubis quite a few times, because Zarya is a pretty popular pick, second point Anubis, and that is on offense, I should say, on offense. When she pushes, I like to get on one of the rafters above the point, closer to the entranceway, and wait for her to walk past. So basically the whole team walks past you. You can get behind her, because she won't see you, right? She won't see you. So you can actually eat Matrix from behind her, and I've done that 3 or 4 times. So being more clever about your positioning is good. With the Tracer, and I'll try to be a little quicker now with the Tracer, a little more hard to predict. Good Tracers are all, you know, they're going to try to outplay your game awareness. That's kind of the whole point of Tracer, is to zoom around and try to confuse you with their movements. But mainly, you know, if you see teammates grouped up, you see supports out by themselves, you see a Tracer picking on them, always try to help that support, Matrix that support. For the longer lasting ults, Roadhog Soldier, it's going to get much more complicated now that the Matrix has been nerfed. Mainly that Soldier, we'll start with Soldier, it's a little more simple. Soldier, I read a quote on one of my YouTube video comments earlier, And the guy goes, "Why do you need Matrix when you can just kill him with the rockets, the new rockets?" And I kind of read it, I laughed, but then I was like, he has a point, because it doesn't matter.
She's really good at body blocking as well, because she's a big target that even when Defense Matrix runs out, you can just stand in their face anyway.
Right, and I think that's what most divas do just by default. We run up right to him, we sit in his face, and now when you sit in his face, you're going to be throwing rockets in his face. Most soldiers just get annihilated. Of course, like a nano boosted hero always throws another curveball into it, but like a regular soldier ulting, not hard to take out as diva. Roadhog though, I'll tell you what, I played some Roadhog on PTR and played against him. That thing never dies. It is unbelievably strong. He can tank diva bombs now. It's crazy, especially if he has any sort of healing on him, like a Zen Orb or a Mercy. It's absolutely crazy. I'm really excited to see.
So now with new diva, what is your role on the team? How do you play diva differently to how you played it before? Say if you're hypothetically attacking or defending on King's Row, what are you seeking to do when it comes to protecting your team and try to kill the enemy as well?
We'll start with Defense King's Row. So Defense King's Row, one thing you can always start with now that Diva has these long-range projectiles is it actually benefits you to pre-fire spawn. Now, you see Reinhardt's and such do that all the time. Now Diva can do it as well. The most charge that I've built up is I think 11 or 12% off of a pre-fire. But that's still a lot for a Diva ultimate. Like 10 or 11% is a good amount of charge for the first second of the game. So make sure you start with something like that and then get out of there. Then you'll want to probably back up with the rest of your team, because now you don't have as much sustain. You can't be so much of a frontliner, especially on defense. You don't have that wiggle room anymore. So you're gonna have to start anticipating, I think, your enemy's plays a bit more. Watch how they're moving. See if a squishy walks out by themselves. See if the soldier takes the high ground on King's Row looking down to the point. You can certainly fly up there and kill him. And then, as the push progresses, keep monitoring that kind of stuff. Diva is now like the squishy destroyer. I'm not sure if you played her yet, Ryan, on the PTR. It's like, I honestly feel awful for Zenyatta's and Ana's now. It's going to be miserable. It's going to be miserable.
I feel for me, as somebody that plays I play Overwatch quite conservatively anyway when it comes to playing heroes that mitigate, like Reinhardt, Winston, stuff like that. That I find, and I'm sure a lot of people will as well, the change from being defensive to offensive quite difficult to keep on top of. So that kind of brings me on to another question I wanted to ask. What is the optimal way of dealing as much DPS or killing a support or diving a support in as quick a fashion as you can?
Yeah.
What's the work ethic with that?
Yeah, I've been working on that quite a bit, kind of theory crafting it up on the PTR. Right now, what I'm finding is that you, of course, when you boost, you can shoot. So you always want to boost and shoot, minding that like something with an Ana can sleep dart you, so you might want to try to anticipate the sleep dart and flash your Matrix. But for the most part, shoot and boost. There's no downside now. I mean, Diva has unlimited ammo. You might as well shoot every time you boost, because there's literally no downside. It doesn't slow you down. There's nothing else that happens. Yeah, you just keep going. So shoot while you boost all the time. You can get into a good habit. So let's start with an Ana. You see an Ana. Let's just say she doesn't have cooldowns. You fly up, or yeah, she's all of her abilities are on cooldown, I should say. So you fly up to her. You start shooting. One thing I have noticed is that the rockets are really hard to control when you shoot them from the start of the boost, because basically if that hero's moving, you're trying to aim a hit scan and a projectile, which means that you're not going to hit all your shots with one or the other. So in essence, unless a hero is standing perfectly still or like a Pharah flying in the sky moving slowly, you're going to want to shoot, and then right as you're about to stop, that 0.5 second uptime for the rockets, you're going to want to click that. Diva stops, the rocket should start firing, you keep shooting, and that Ana's dead. Like, she's obliterated.
There's a lot of like moving parts with Diva, both literally with her mech, but also with the changes that have happened. There's so many like minor things that have all come together. What is the most impactful bit of her kit? Is it the nerf to Matrix? Is that really like an underlying thing? Or are people underrating stuff like the rockets, for example?
Oh, they are absolutely... The most underrated part right now is being able to shoot while you fly. There's no doubt in my mind. That's the biggest one. Because, like we were just discussing, you can kill those heroes now that you could never kill before. If Afar is even close to my eye level in the game, flying a little low, kind of within your range, if you start shooting her, boost, keep shooting her, hit her, and then melee her, that is so much burst to that low HP hero. It's going to kill her almost every time unless she's being pocketed. It's crazy. It's crazy. And it's not like Pharah can kill you. You're a 600 HP flying tank, you know? Like, the squishies have no chance.
Would you say that she's a bit overtuned then? I think people look at Mercy, and I think it's a unanimous decision of people saying they like her, but like she needs turning down, like with a Valkyrie pistol, for example, which is probably going to get reduced by the time this video goes out.
Definitely.
Do you feel like there's anything like that with Diva, that short-sightedly maybe a bit too overpowered, or do you feel like actually she's quite balanced at this point and fits in quite well?
The thing is, right, and I get why they added the rockets. I get it. It gives a Diva player something else to do, and it's a projectile. It gives the appearance of having more skill, etc., etc. But it just further like convolutes an already convoluted hero. Diva, I mean, think about it. Diva has almost the highest maneuverability in the game, if not the highest, because she can grab high ground and zoom around the map however she pleases. Literally free mobility. She also has something that can eat ultimates on a regular basis, basically whenever she wants. She has a second life, right? All of her boosting movements do a little bit of burst damage and also has knockback. Her ultimate is an AoE crowd clearer that basically one-shots every hero in the game. With all that added, I think they make these changes and they're just overcomplicating things. Again, if it was me and I was designing this hero to more easily fit in with the rest of the cast, I wouldn't keep adding onto her already very robust kit. I would keep refining her kit, making it fit with the current roster, the current metas. I think that's the way I would go. But I'm just a player. I don't know.
Do you think there's going to be still cries of her being overpowered then if these changes went to live?
Ryan, if you want my honest opinion, I think this new Diva is way better than the Season 5 Diva. I am so excited to play with this new Diva. I don't know, I was streaming one day, I laughed for about 20 minutes straight. Because I'm just like, this is gonna be crazy. I don't know if like people have been watching videos, but just go watch Diva attack an Ana. Just go watch a video of that. That's all you have to do, and you'll be like... Well,
there'll be gameplay in the background of this that I think will show good examples of
how
new Diva can be effective. But like, just sort of to finish on real quick as well, when playing a new Diva, what do you feel is going to be the biggest misconception or mistake the new people or old Diva players are gonna make with her?
I mean, she's not as strong, and you can't get away with making as poor of judgments. So in that aspect, she definitely has a higher skill cap. And with the rockets, if you use them correctly, it is technically having a higher skill cap. You have more things to do. So those players that aren't able to adapt easily to those, these offensive changes are going to have a definite tough time. Diva's counters are, like, let's think about it. Zarya, right, when she has a lot of charge. Mei, Symmetra to an extent. Now, why are they her counters? Well, they're her counters because they ignore Matrix for the most part. Their primary fire ignores Matrix, and therefore they counter Diva because Diva's primary sustainability is cancelled. But if you remove Matrix from the equation a little bit, right, we reduced it, that really doesn't matter to those heroes anyways. They never even cared about Matrix. The main counters to Diva now actually are going to have a tougher time winning fights because you can melt Symmetras on one-on-one fights with Zaryas. You're going to now have a better chance to kill the Zarya. Mei's 250 health if you hit your rockets is nothing to melt down.
Doomfist as well is worth noting as well.
Yep. And I think they'll see some Doomfist clips in here. He gets absolutely destroyed. Any of those heroes now have a harder time against Diva because of this change. And that's something I haven't seen many people talk about.
And that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching. Do check out LowKeyNerd. He's a very good Diva. Does a lot of videos on why he does certain things as well in GM games and how he contains the pros as well. So do check him out. All of his details are in the description below. Again, let us know what other Master Heroes you would like us to do in the future. And until next time, take care. We'll see you then.